around 34. Later today and Wednesday, the weather stays unseasonably cool. A good supply of sunshine both days. The high today 55, the high Wednesday 58. I'm James Spann on the ADC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 41 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
I'm Martin Houston, and you're listening to ESPN Radio. Check me out right here on the Martin Houston Show, Monday through Friday from 6 to 7 a.m.
WTUG HD2 Northport,
WT65CG
Tuscaloosa, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 Northport and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station.
What man to beat, you can forget about it. Touchdown, Alabama.
Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm wondering if you're a listener, know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to fix it, and I running back coach didn't take it. biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome to the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial. The Martin Houston Show can also be seen on the Martin Houston Radio Network, include Martin Houston Live on Facebook and YouTube, also broadcast on XNO Sports. And today we add DC Capstone Report to the conversation as well. And moving forward, we'll have DC joining us from the top of the hour. Phone lines are open, but we will not bring you into the conversation until the second quarter. So, we want to give DC an opportunity to talk a little bit. So we'll be talking good, bad, and ugly, who won the weekend, Mississippi State, and a whole lot more. Remember that this is a day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. I don't do this often, but hey, listen, this costs time and money to do these shows. So I'm asking you, as a faithful follower of the Martin Houston Show, to consider sending some support to my page by sending stars. You can show support by sending stars. That money helps to me to continue to provide great content Monday through Friday, but also want to start to do some other things, maybe some post-game shows and pre-game shows and specials and stuff as we get to Iron Bowl and the playoffs and different things like that. So show some love, show some support, send some stars today. Thank you so much for being a part of the program. We got DC and X. Good morning, X. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. Doing good. How are you?
Doing well. Good morning, DC. Glad you're able to join us at the top of the hour now moving forward, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Martin. Good morning, X. Glad to be a part of the show.
Absolutely. So we really didn't get into the good, bad, and ugly on yesterday. And so to start that conversation, DC, we can start with whichever one you want to go with. And then X, I'll let DC give his, and you give the same one that he gives you. He goes good, you go good. You go ugly, you go ugly. All right, DC, we'll start with you, sir. Tough loss for the Alabama Crimson Tide. But let's talk a little good, bad, and ugly.
Well, I talked a little bit on the podcast yesterday. My podcast is already up, and I talked a little bit about there was some good to come out of this. It was a bad
loss, heartbreaking loss, to Tennessee. I thought the resilience of some players made some individual efforts along the way. I thought Bryce Young played with a calmness about him to get us back into the game, to tie the game, even to put us in a position to win the game. So I think my good in that game was Bryce Young's play, his calmness to lead, the leadership, and I thought he had a really good game, which is overshadowed by the loss, I believe, in this game. So that's my good. Bryce Young's play in the game.
X?
Yeah, I have to agree. Bryce Young was the good. He was the calm in the storm. And we actually saw just a small bit of reaction from him truly for the first time when we got down on the goal line, got the holding penalty and the delay of game. We watched Coach Saban kind of say, hey, it's all good. We got it. And then he turns around and does the great job making everybody miss that led to the pass interference that kept the drive alive and the score to make this a ball game. So Bryce Young's performance was just definitely the best thing from the weekend.
Yeah, DC, and I say that we watched the best player to ever play college football, and I know that I know that I have crimson colored glasses, but what he did, just absolutely amazing. Now, I don't know that Tennessee gets 52 if Jalen Milroe is playing, because the clock probably runs a little bit faster and all of that, and we have even more time of possession probably. But just to watch him elevate that team was about as good as I've ever seen in the midst of a storm. And so it pretty amazing stuff by Bryce Young. And that play that Xavier was talking about was a Heisman moment, even though it was an incomplete pass, had we went on to win that game. DC.
I agree with you 100%. I think he was definitely the good part of it. My bad part of it had to be, in my mind, the lack of discipline play from the Alabama team. A number of penalties, a number of putting yourself in bad situations, boneheaded plays, inconsistencies, and I think it's the most undisciplined team or undisciplined play I've seen since the 2007 game, where everyone wasn't bought in. And I don't understand that, because everybody talked about this year about how everybody's bought in. And so I really don't understand that. But to me, the bad part of the plays was all the penalties, all the miscues, all the mental mistakes, all the errors by multiple people on the team and coaches.
X.
Yeah. Yeah, mine would just be the play of the defense, the lack of adjustments. I went back and watched some of the touchdowns and things like that and the alignments, and it just never made sense to me why they never adjusted. Pete Golden never did anything to remedy that. When you look at on the long touchdown that Hyatt had, the 78-yarder, you have the wide receivers, all of them lined up just a few yards from the sideline outside of the numbers, and we're running a cover 3. It just didn't make any sense with the lack of adjustment. So that was the bad for me, just the defense not making any type of changes to help put the DBs in better situations.
I saw a post on 247 Sports. Someone shared a post with me from 247 Sports. And this is McElroy talking. He said, this is not a Pete Golding thing. This is a Nick Saban thing. He thinks Saban relies on man coverage as an overall strategic scheme too much, and the secondary keys are based on where the wideouts are lining up. And there's a relatively easy way to give that kind of coverage problems. He said the book on Saban's defense has gotten out. Saban isn't adjusting. He made the observations that you could look at Bama's offense as a clue to what gives their defense problems. Pretty good insight there. And then he goes on to say, even when Bama tries to adjust, they still pretty much, their zone looks like man, and that if you stack wide receivers then you can always get a safety on one of your wide receivers. I don't know if Greg's telling the truth or not, guys, but that definitely seems to be what Heupel thought and executed continuously on Saturday. So I say that because we call it on Pete. We say it's Pete, but I'm telling you, these defensive backs, that's Coach Saban's baby, DC. And
Yeah, I wasn't going to say it was on Pete. I know that was X's take, and I respect that. There's a lot of folks that have that take. I wasn't going to say it was on Pete. I don't like to be critical of our coaching staff, but in this instance, I think Greg McElroy is right. I mean, I don't often agree with Greg McElroy, but I think that you can see in this, and I think some of it's, I don't know if it's pride, stubbornness, hard-headedness, whatever, but it's like the verbiage that's coming out is placing the blame on execution. In other words, saying my defense is right if you'd execute it properly. But I think that the people, other offensive minds, have looked at it long enough now to say, okay, there's no perfect defense. How do we attack the weaknesses of it? And I think they found a weakness in order to exploit the keys. In other words, you can get a defensive back who's got the most experience ever in the system and know all the keys. And if you would give them something to activate one of those keys and put them in where you want them to, then you're determining what their defense is going to be, and you got an open play. You know where your open player is on your offense. I think that's exactly what happened.
DC, let me give you a great example. In this, I can give you an example from high school when I played defense. I could watch. I studied film to pick up what does this running back do when he goes left. So I watch all of his plays. He ran left, and what does he do when he goes right? You know, and we played this one guy who he actually slightly staggered his feet to give you a clue where he was going. Well, you can do that same thing with your alignment and how you align your defense. Another example is if you play a team that over pursues, that's aggressive, that's fast, that's quick, that loves to get up the field, that's what you use. You run counters because if they see that running back take 2 steps to the left, they're flying out of there, makes the blocks easier, running back cuts back, lineman pull, kick out. Defensively, they figured out, and Sark said it, guys. Sark said, what did Sarkisian say before we played him? We're not as worried because we know what gives Pete Golding and that Nick Saban defense fits or trouble. Right? And well, do you think Heupel called Sark?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Oh, I ain't no doubt.
I think that Heupel is just as intelligent offensively as Sark, and he can pick it up himself. I think he just what Sark said just confirmed everything that Heupel was thinking about.
Yeah, but DC, I guarantee you, Heupel may see it on film. What's his name has heard the conversations. Sark knows. Not only does Sark know Heupel. What we don't know is did Saban make adjustments, because Sark on the inside knows the adjustments as well and knows how to counteract the adjustments. What happens? Think about a magician, guys. If a magician has the greatest secrets in the world, but his assistant goes somewhere else,
sure,
or goes out to the audience and says, "Oh, this is what's really happening." All you have to look for is this. At this moment, he does this. All of a sudden, the magic's no longer there, right?
Yeah, but this is not the first time this has happened, guys. This has happened before. This has happened before Kirby Smart. It's
Absolutely.
just a different area. He found a weakness. He said, "Hey, I don't have the wideouts to break that key, but I do have the tight ends to break the other key. So if I can put them in a defense if I can push their buttons to put them in the defense, if I can exploit them with the tight ends, I'll do it. And they did it, and we never covered the tight ends in that whole game. So, I mean, it's happened before, and I think that's what I'm saying. It's happened before, and we've not made any changes. So that it sounds like to me, or it appears to me, that the feeling is there's nothing wrong with my defense if everybody executes it properly, that it works. And I don't think that's the case every time.
And I agree with that. X, I'll let you close out, and then I'll close out, and we'll flip to the second quarter.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion really wasn't as much as a blame on Pete as when you look at the defensive staff, each one of them has a specific job and has to be able to look and see something when it's not working, whether that's Coach Saban and the DBs, Robinson and the DBs, the Freddie Roach and the defensive line. There were a lot of things. We kept dropping Dallas Turner in the coverage instead of sending him, giving Hooker all the time in the world to throw, running cover 3 when you've got wide receivers literally standing on the sideline. It was just bad decisions and bad play calling all the way around. And the fact that Greg McElroy said that hey, it's my defense is good, you just got to run it right, shows me there's that lack of communication and lack of understanding about what these offenses are doing today.
Absolutely. And the one thing I want to hit on, guys, like I said, this was it was a complete team effort in this loss, but it seems like it's all being put on the players, very little being put on the coaches and the preparation, and the players' lack of execution, as DC said. Also, guys, this is not the first time, DC, even last year with Kirby, was not the first time that someone found the kryptonite to Bama's defense. We've just been able to be better than everybody else. I'll tell you who else has copied. Also, if you go back a few years ago when Kirby was here, and when it got to 3rd and long, everybody knew what to run because we were much better on 3rd and short than we were 3rd and long before carry. So there's chinks in the armor, and when you're better than everybody, you can cover those up. But has the portal equalized college football in a hurry? And do we have a couple of games coming up where guys will be able to take advantage of the chink in the armor? Does Mississippi State have the kryptonite? Does Ole Miss have the kryptonite? Who else will figure out this Bama D while Bama tries to figure it out themselves? We'll keep the conversation going right here on DC with DC Capstone Report on the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. Phone lines will be open when we come back. The Alabama One hotline is open for business, so give us a call, 205-342-9904.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks, traffic moving well. We may still have some lingering smoke from a grass fire on Alabama 69 up above North Side, so watch out for that and just be careful. If you see other conditions, give me a call. Townsend Nissan is having a special sale today with super markdowns and extra cash for your trade. Go see them. I'm Captain Ray.
With Taco Casa, it's not really fast food because it's made fresh every day in the store. The quality hasn't changed. The consistency hasn't changed because we haven't changed anything in the food. It's made fresh every morning in every restaurant. I think buzzwords in today's food industry are locally sourced and high quality ingredients. We want to say, that sounds great. We've been doing that since 1974. Under the biggest cactus in town, Taco Casa.
O'Reilly Auto Parts specializes in keeping your car on the road. Not sure how much life is left in your battery? Our professional parts people will test it for free. If it does need to be replaced, we'll help you find just the right one to fit your car. Our Superstar batteries are built to handle even the toughest conditions. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Finding the right Medicare plan? Oof, no easy feat. Kind of like those dances my granddaughter loves making me do. But then I found Walgreens Find Rx coverage. Lets you compare plans online, over the phone, or in person. Made Medicare shopping so easy. Plus, I found plans with low-cost copays. I can get down with that. When you need to talk Medicare, Walgreens is here. Start shopping today at walgreens.com/Medicare.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A winter preview for West Alabama through midweek. Sunny, breezy, very cool today, the high 55. A freeze warning in effect tonight. The sky clear, the low at 31. And tomorrow a sunny and cool day, the afternoon high at 60. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 40 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Sophmark Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit him online at sophmarkdesign.com.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. We have DC Capstone report on with us. DC, let's go ahead and knock out that ugly before we roll into the phone calls.
Well, ugly, I had to get to the other side of the ball, and I thought the play calling on the last drive that Alabama had to set up the field goal was ugly. I thought anybody that was anyone that had any idea of what was going on would have understood that Tennessee's explosive offense didn't need 1 second on the clock to gain an advantage on. And I thought that you're still, after all the atrocious play, after all the mistakes, you're still in a position to win the ball game. So you got to put your players in the best position. And I felt like that the play calling, whoever made them, whether it was Bill O'Brien or Coach Xavier, I think he has the headset and he has the right to overrule as he's done in the past. They run the ball. I thought calling the plays to pass plays, whether they were dropped or not, was not the right thing to do. And I believe it was ugly that you could have run the ball, pushed yourself in a great position once you got in field goal position to put the ball in the middle of the field. 1 second left to go. Give Riker a chance to miss it or make it. Miss it, go to overtime, make it, and win the ball game. And so that, in my opinion, was the ugly part of this game. It's just in my belief is that we let the game escape us with poor play call on that last series.
Thanks.
Yeah, mine would have to be the penalties. When you look at 17 penalties, a school record, the fact that you already had a game where you had 15 and flirted with it against Texas, you just can't win playing like that. You look at those 17 penalties and you look at how they killed drives, how they extended drives for Tennessee, and just the mental errors as a whole, the guy trying to pick up the punt that he thought was touched, which I understand that, but you're always taught you fall on that. You don't try to pick it up and run because you don't know who's around you.
Well, the guy was about to tackle him, as he was trying to pick it up. But and since you guys hit those, I don't like to blame officiating, and I still agree with the penalty were way too many. But I still think officiating was an ugly part of that game from the fact that every judgment call, whether it was replay, Tennessee got. Whether it was pass interference, Tennessee got the judgment call on the field. Holding, we never got. Our defensive line, especially Will Anderson, was held all day, even though they did at times do really good blocking Will Anderson. Still held him numerous times right in the official's face. They let Tennessee drive and push the pile, and no whistle would blow. We get a fumble, and they blow the whistle instantly and say he was down. So that's just a few of the things that I say officiating changed. I also agree with DC saying that there was a problem with the play calling. Nick Saban has preached for 16 years. You don't make decisions based on what? The outcome, right? A decision is not good or bad based on the outcome. But yet one of the first things he said was, well, that play call was a good call. Gibbs just dropped the ball. Well, that's looking at an outcome. The right decision in that scenario is to give Gibbs the ball, but not in a pass. It's to run him 3 times, line that ball up in the middle of the field, and either shorten the field goal, definitely shorten the clock, or make them use their timeouts, and you line the ball up because you have a struggling kicker. All of those things he totally missed as a coaching staff. And to say, no matter how bad that team played on Saturday, guys, one thing that everybody in America thought, including Tennessee, was the streak was going to continue. Anybody, when there was 50, when we got the ball inside field goal range, did either one of you and any caller that come on here, did you think the streak would continue? Yes.
I did.
Yes, we all did. And then we watched what happened in the next 3 plays. And before those 3 plays were ran, I said to myself, if we don't make this field goal and we leave time, I said it out loud actually. Tennessee will go down and score if we give them enough time, and we did. So all we had to do is burn 2 more seconds anywhere, and they don't win that game. So
just make them use that second timeout.
That's what I'm saying. It just anything. So let's go. We got Pat. Pat, you're with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Good morning, Martin. And instead of good, bad, ugly, we need to talk about the air raid, man. The air raid. I'm concerned. Are y'all not concerned about the air raid? And y'all realize Mike Leach every now and then wins games he ain't supposed to?
Well, I'll let DC respond. I'm not as concerned about the air raid because where hypo spreads you out over the width of the field.
Don't do that.
He doesn't go deep. He doesn't use the vertical. What hypo has created in his offense is he line you up. It's like, Pat, when I was playing in high school or when I coached little league teams and my teams weren't really good, but we wanted to run the ball, I got big splits so that running lanes were naturally created. And if my lineman could just get on them a little bit, boom, I had a running lane. Well, in Heupel's passing game, he's trying to get deep, so he spreads you out, make you cover 53 and a third plus 100. Unless Leach changes that, he tends to use a lot of crossing and mismatch, which is still a problem with Saban's defense, which was pointed out by McElroy, Pat, is that they don't do a good job switching receivers, sort of like when you play pick and roll. DC?
I understand where you're coming from, Pat. I'm less concerned with the air raid and Mike Leach as I am with the Alabama football team. I feel like if Alabama comes out and plays to their potential, then we can beat this Mississippi State team. My only concern for this game is for Alabama. Can we really put the loss? Can we bury the loss, put it in the rearview mirror, and not let it affect our performance in this game? If we can do that, then I'm not concerned about how we play defensively against matchups. I think we have better personnel. I think we have better skill players. I think we match up better in this game, much better defensively than we did against Tennessee. And so I don't see that they can exploit the issues that Tennessee did. So that's why I'm not concerned. I'm more concerned about Alabama. If Alabama comes out and plays to its standards, then I think that we'll win the game handily.
Yeah, and I will say that what's his name will have to adjust the way he calls plays. If he does, then we could have issues again defensively.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, like I said, just historically, Leach wins games he's not supposed to.
Yeah, and we don't lose games we're not supposed to historically. So which one bears out?
Have a blessed day, Mr. Houston. Thank
All right.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for
All
calling.
right. Thank you, sir. Y'all know Nick Saban has lost, I think, 4 games in October in his career here at Alabama. So,
the thing about it is, every time Alabama loses a game like this, 2019 to LSU, 2021 last year to A&M, Mississippi State has paid the price the next week.
Yeah. I saw where Mississippi State posted, well, dang, here it goes again. Alabama loses the week before they play us, and we get the penalty. We get the punishment for it. So
I think we're 29-1 after that loss.
yeah. All right. Hey, let's get the break, Tom. We don't want to short you guys. We'll get you guys on the other side. A couple comments. Virgil said it's not skill that's losing; it's the coaching. I can't disagree. Jamie McGee saying, I'll bet you Mississippi State and everyone else will do the same thing on offense. That's what Tennessee did, and that's the question. Will they adjust? Will Mississippi State put in some stack routes, some stack formations with the wide receivers? Jed Cohen also said we never bracketed Hyatt from Tennessee and made someone else beat us. We never took away anything. They ran the ball when they wanted to, 5, 6, 7 yards a pop on second down after an incomplete, and they threw it when they wanted to. So you're right. I agree with that. We'll come back on the other side. We'll continue to get conversation from DC and X, and we'll bring in Tom and Robert. If you want to get in on the conversation, you can join the Alabama One hotline at 205-342-9904.
This is a Town Square Media Tide 100.9 Sports Update.
I'm Kim Rankin with your Tide Sports Update. 2 Alabama linebackers have made the Rotary Lombardi Award midseason watch list. Alabama soccer goalkeeper McKinley Crone has won SEC Defensive Player of the Week. Alabama soccer has moved up to number 1 in the top drawer soccer rankings. The Alabama men's basketball team is ranked number 20 in the preseason AP poll rankings.
This has been a Town Square Media Tide 100.9 Sports Update.
Run it again!
For more info on these stories and more, download the Tide 100.9 app.
Tide 100.9 Traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks, traffic moving well. We may still have some lingering smoke from a grass fire on Alabama 69 up above North Side, so watch out for that and just be careful. If you see other conditions, give me a call. Townsend Nissan is having a special sale today with super markdowns and extra cash for your trade. Go see them. I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard right next door to Alabama One, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
Hey, Pete, how's business? It's great. Foot traffic's still way down, but more people are finding me online. Nice. How'd you pull that off? Well, the first thing I did was go to mylocalcustomers.com to see exactly how many searches there were for businesses like mine. So I guess there were a lot? Yeah, there were hundreds of local searches every month. So after I saw that, they helped me position my business online to get in front of those customers. That's awesome. I wonder how many people are searching for my services around here. Well, it's quick and easy to get the answer. Plus, it's free. Just go to mylocalcustomers.com to find out. If there are a lot of searches, you should definitely get in front of them. If there aren't, no harm, no foul.
Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free local customer analysis that will show you how many customers are searching online for your type of business. It's quick, easy, and free. Visit mylocalcustomers.com. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $69.99. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
Nick Saban calls it the process. John Maxwell said that everything rises and falls on it. And Coach Wooden said it's what you learn after you think you know it all that makes the difference. What am I talking about? Leadership and personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church, your family, are they receiving the proper level of leadership development and personal development? If not, the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring can help you with that. We have our Pep Talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com. That's peptalks35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.org. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
So how much of this is just trusting that these players at this point in the season are going to become more disciplined and play the way you want them to? Or how much is it on the coaching staff to try to get them there, even though we're at this point in the season?
It's both. It's both. And everybody responds differently. I think you're exactly right. But we can't continue to tolerate guys that aren't doing the things they need to do to be successful. You know, nobody's entitled to a position. You know, everybody's earned the position that they're in by showing that they have the capability and ability to do it on a consistent basis. And that's something that you have to continue. And the grind of the season, being in the middle of the season, being a little bit hurt, tired, whatever, can't lose your focus on doing the things you need to do to continue to improve and get better, because other people are looking at your flaws too. So, you know, I told the players a little story about, you know, a carpenter has a special light that he finished carpenter to see wood is exactly what he wants to be. He's looking for flaws in the wood. Well, people are looking for flaws in you, whether it's how you block, how you tackle, how you cover, whatever it is you do, how we cover punts, whatever it is we do. And we have to be aware of that and know that we need to correct these things, so they don't become issues for us in the future.
DC, please respond.
Well, again, I think we're talking about players, and I don't think he talked about coaches as much. Later on, he did say it starts at the bottom up and me, so I think he was including everybody. If you hear what he's saying here, I think there is some issues, some players on the team that he feels like is not playing up their potential, and they've tried to work with him, and he's thinking about making a change. So, and I don't know where that is. I would assume it's got to be on the back end somewhere, based on the performance in this last game, or either on special teams that he threw in there covering punts. But I guess we'll see this week.
Yeah, he did not address the coaches, DC.
Yeah, he didn't address it in this.
He didn't address it. He may have came back and said something about coaches. That was his moment right there.
He had an opportunity to do it right there and didn't do it. He later came back and said that we need to everybody make coaches, me and myself included. But it was later on. It wasn't at the moment when he could have addressed it right there.
Yeah, he went all in on the players. That's y'all fault. We're coaching y'all right. Well, if
I think there is one player you might see something from down the road, and then just a hunch I've got from people that I've talked to in practice. There's a freshman that is really that's coming off an injury that's really making some heads turn in practice as far as defense backfield. So I think that might be coming in the next game. We'll see.
Well, he's.
Does he have a father that used to be in the NFL as well?
Yes, his name is Earl Little Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's sad though if we are dependent on a freshman to come in and make plays, DC, when we have been recruiting at the highest level, supposedly in the last 3 years or so. And this was supposed to be the best defense we've ever had. We got an All-American from LSU, and now you're telling me the great vaunted Alabama is dependent on a freshman to come in and save the day. I'm just saying that maybe we need to talk more about it's not just the players. It's deeper. And I heard that this team was all bought in. Let's talk to Tom. Tom, you're in with the Martin Houston Show with DC and X.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't know. I was going to talk about the game, but obviously I didn't see the same game y'all saw. And but
what that mean? What does that mean?
Well, I saw a crazy game. That's for sure. I saw some people making mistakes, but at the end, I saw a chance to win the game, and we didn't execute. But y'all in that X's and O's thing, that's fine. Y'all stick with that. And
hold on, Tom. That's what we said.
I respect what y'all saying. I understand what you're saying, but
what do you think you're saying different? We said that
I defer to y'all's football intelligence because y'all are smarter than me about that. But I wanted to bring this up. I did not know until Saturday that the officials had an NIL deal with the gamblers in the United States of America. I just did not realize that, but now it all makes sense. They have an NIL with the bookie, and they executed. I got to give the officials credit. They executed to where that payoff came on through for them. I just didn't realize the NIL did. But, one thing that I say is that the thing that blew my mind is when Tennessee come out there and they stick those wide receivers outside the numbers. I've never seen anybody play us like that before. But they take these high-powered, fast wide receivers, they stick them outside the numbers, and automatically it looked like to me, and I will defer to y'all because I'm saying right off the bat, y'all know more than me, but they take these wide receivers, stick them outside the number. It looked like to me the middle of the field just opened up, and it was there for 5 touchdowns on a skinny post all day long.
I think you're exactly right, Pat. That's what we were talking about earlier. That's the Josh Heupel adjustment to the Nick Saban defense.
We have the speed to keep up with.
Well, we have the speed. We
had the speed. We just had them playing in the wrong position. They were wrong position because the key to them was to get into the certain position, and we had the speed to keep up with them, but not in the position they were playing.
Well,
that situation was when you have that much field to cover, you should always have 2 safeties over the top. That way they only have to cover half a field. If you look at just about every time that they beat us, it was a cover 3 look when you only have 1 safety in the middle of the field, and you're not going to cover 53 yards that way.
Yeah, that's the part. See, I don't understand.
And watch this. Let me tell you this, Tom, and I'll let you go after this. But Tom, listen, if the 2 guys are getting off the ball clean and clear, and one is clearly faster than the guy behind him, then I'm going to bring one of those guys up, and I'm going to make him knock the crap out of that front guy, which makes the second guy have to take more time to get out into his route. Because, because it takes him more time to get out into his route, it slows him down, number one. Number two, it gives the defensive line – think about how many times Will was literally an arm reach away from the quarterback. But he wasn't close enough to pressure him. But if that receiver had to just make one more move to get out of the backfield, then all of a sudden he's not at the top part of that route, which led to a touchdown.
Yeah, I agree with you. Pressure, that's the way you have to do them. You have to beat them with pressure. But they had a long time to run those routes. I agree with you 100%.
So you can either get pressure, Tom, or you can make them adjust at the line of scrimmage.
I've never seen anybody, or never have I thought about getting those guys so far wide. And I tell you what, the body language to the defense, to me, they were absolutely taken aback by that move right there, and it confused them all night long.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Tom. Hey, Tom, I didn't comment on the NIL deal on the referees because I'm not aware of it, but there's a video of one of the officials.
Funny. I was trying to be funny.
Hey,
I was
listen.
trying to be funny about the referee.
But here's the thing. Have you seen the video that's going around where the official looks like he says touchdown, and then he balls his fist up, and it looks like he says, yeah! All right.
On the sideline, the camera picked up Lee Corso. He was standing over there on the sideline. Alabama scores. He had some papers in his hand. He slammed those papers down on the ground.
Yeah.
Alabama scored. And then that little girl that was interviewing everybody for CBS, she gave the coach at Tennessee a box of cigars.
Yeah, I saw that. All right, thanks, appreciate it.
If I could say one thing, officiating comment, I'm not blaming the officials for us losing. We did enough to lose on our own, but I am blaming the officials for ineptness. Okay, in this game, it is clear they were inept. I can call out several plays that were not judgment calls. 12 men on the field for Tennessee, not knowing that it was fourth down when everybody in the world knew it was fourth down. All the helmet to helmet contact which was not judgment, it was not fact. It's what the rule says, and it was immediately in the rule, within the parameters of the rule. But this was not the first time this crew has done this to play teams. It's been other teams that this has done, and this crew, I think, has even been disciplined before for their ineptness in calling games. So I'm not blaming the officials for Alabama losing. I'm just blaming the officials for the SEC for not having the best officiating crew on the field for the best game of the year in the SEC. That, to me, is what's called just a lack of preparation. You don't put your worst officiating crew in to officiate the best team. That should never happen.
Robert from Mobile, you in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
DZ's 100% right. I never want to see that team officiate the Alabama game again unless it's against UConn or something. You guys, of course, were totally right. And Greg McElroy, like you said, it's one of the few times we actually agree with him on his analysis of the defense. I mean, just 129 FBS teams in college football. Alabama's defense is capable of shutting 100 of them with less than 20 points. And, with the way he plays it now. And, the other 20, they were capable of shutting down less than 30 points. It's just those 9 that all right, man, you ain't going to shut these teams down. Maybe just maybe 2 or 3, but you're going to have to face those 2 or 3. And you got to come up with a scheme that can beat those 2 or 3. Because that's going to work 99% of the time. But it's going to be that 1%. You got to make an adjustment on it. And we still defense. Reason being, as you well know, I'm no Bill O'Brien fan, but the offense did its just this. Bryce Young did his job. I gave you 42 points, legit, and we got to 49. That should win me game 10 out of 10 times for Alabama if my defense is performing at a competent level. What our problem was just they just looked like incompetence out there, and like you all said, with the scheming and the lack of adjustments to things. Okay, guys, he got you one time, but okay, he got you twice. All right, he got you 3 times. Can you stop him now? Because what the guy has got 6 catches and 5 of them are touchdowns. I mean, it's okay when we do it with Devontae. So we do it, but when somebody does it, hey, wait, that's wrong. Why you see that? And they needed to make adjustments, and they didn't. You have the right. I think Nick Saban's a big enough man to point to himself. He may not do it out loud to us, but I imagine, he does do it out loud. And I think he is pointing to himself.
Yeah.
Is he pointing to himself enough to make the change? Oh, and real quick, I agree with Mississippi State. They're going to take it on the chin. I'm sorry, Mississippi State. You're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Again. Hey, Robert, I appreciate that. And the key is that that they actually Saban will make changes in everything, but the one place he has refused to make changes is in the DBs, and that's what my concern is. Thanks. We got a couple more calls. Thanks for that insight. Great insight. And that's what we need to handle there. So, hey, listen, we got Todd. Todd, you in with the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9.
Good morning, gentlemen. I just got a couple quick comments. I know Saban didn't say, examining it was to put it on the coaches and himself, but later on, like DC did say, he did put it on. The coaches need to do a better job, and he even said himself. He said himself he has to do a better job. I believe that.
If you bought Nick Saban saying that as him saying that, come on, man. He said that because somebody asked him a question and he only mentioned it. When he was asking about the players, he went in. He didn't say, we need to call better plays. We need to manage the clock better. We need to change the defense. We need to rush. That's correcting yourself and taking responsibility. He didn't do that. He said, we need to do something. He didn't say what he needed to do. There's a difference. Go ahead.
No, yeah, you're right, Mark. You're right. He didn't publicly call out everything the way he did on the players. And, is he right or wrong from doing that? I don't believe that Saban got to where he's at by doing, everything, right or wrong. He done a lot right, but, so we can criticize that. Yes, sir. I agree with you there, and would like for him to take a little more ownership publicly like that. So that would be nice. But he's expecting those cornerbacks to be a Fitzpatrick. He may not have that player that you can put out there on the island and dare them to throw them out there, and a Derrick Henry. We didn't have that Derrick Henry where you could hand it off to the left-hand side and you were going to get 5 yards to the left. At the last play of the game, we put a lot of emphasis on that play. They put the ball in the best player that's ever played the game of football, and they put it in his hand. And was going to probably the second best player of this year, in the past. Should have been a run, maybe they had a little more faith in the past.
Todd, let me ask you this question. Saban says, don't look at results. Don't look at outcomes. What would 99 out of every other 100 coaches have done in that situation?
Ran the ball and ran the clock out.
All right. That's all I wanted to say. Hey, I got to get out of here. Call back and I'll let you finish up. We'll be talking about it more tomorrow. Jamil from Ohio, sorry, running out of time. I apologize for that. But we'll get you. Please call back. We got a new caller calling in from Ohio. Here's to you, DC. Give us your closing thoughts.
Well, closing thoughts is, as I said earlier, we can't let that loss hurt us the next game. Everything that we want for and we're playing for is ahead of us. We just got to win one game at a time. Every game's a playoff game, and we got to make adjustments on our team when the other team's exploiting. And if we can do that going forward, then everything we want is still out there. So I think our next game will be a telltale sign. If we can do it, then too bad for Mississippi State. It'll be another big loss for them. I think Alabama big in this game, 55-20.
All right. Tell them, DC, where they can find you.
Find me at DCCapstoneReport.com, DC Capstone Report Facebook page. Follow me on Twitter at DavidCotton50 and check out Lance's other site at RollTideBama.com and FreelancePictures.com.
All right. Hey, listen, DC, join us every Tuesday, now starting at 6 o'clock for the entirety of the show. X and O Sports, Xavier Houston with me every day. We're doing this thing together. Thank you all, the callers, listeners, viewers, and chatters for being a part of the show. Thanks, Aiden, for pressing all the right buttons. We'll be back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. Remember this, trust in the Lord always, lean not your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Roll Tide out there, everybody.
Come on now.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Tuesday morning is still fall, but it will feel more like winter the next few days. A freeze warning in effect as overnight lows will plunge into the 30s and even threaten record lows tonight, tomorrow night, and through the remainder of the week. And according to the National Weather Service in Birmingham, the area impacted